Hello and welcome to Gridish Plays. Today we're taking a look at Stunt Race FX on the Super Nintendo. We're just going to go ahead and look at the races today. Quick and easy. This game does have several modes, but we're just looking at the races. We're playing the easy tracks today, or the novice tracks, just so you can get a feel for it. I always pick the coupe because I like the balance. The F1 car has faster speed, but it's got a weaker chassis. The truck, the 4x4 truck or whatever it's called, has stronger chassis. It can take more damage, but it is much slower. So I always pick the coupe. You can also unlock a motorcycle in this game. Which I do recall unlocking on this cartridge before, but it seems to be gone. I don't really understand. I forgot how to manage that or access that or whatever. But yeah, you can unlock a motorcycle. So one of the first things you'll notice about this game is that it has 3D graphics. That's something that a lot of Super Nintendo games don't have, simply because the processing power required for these kind of graphics is something that was kind of high-end at the time, and it required a special chip called the Super FX chip. There's a number of games that used the technology, the Super FX chip. It's built into the cartridge itself. Off the top of my head, obviously there's Star Fox. There's a game called Vortex, which is rumored to be a prototype Transformers game, but they couldn't pull the license together or something. Dirt Tracks FX. Let's see. There was also Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and Doom, which used a revamped version of the Super FX chip. Super Mario World 2 didn't actually have 3D graphics, but it had really high-end graphics for the Super Nintendo by way of the Super FX chip. So this track here, this is actually my favorite track in this game, and one of my favorite tracks in racing games in general. Specifically this part here, this underground part where you see the through the glass, you're going through like an underwater tunnel. Very cool. There's a lot of little graphical touches here and there that are kind of hard to pick out at speed, but it's a very cool track. Always been one of my favorites. I've always thought it was a shame that Nintendo never revisited this game. It's a really good racing game, and it'd be a very cool property to see rebooted. I think the Wii U would be a prime platform for a Stunt Race FX reboot. Unfortunately, no one remembers this game. The only reason people still talk about it is because it was one of these odd Super FX chip games that still people talk about the technology in the games that used it. If it wasn't for the technology backing this game, no one would care about it, which is unfortunate. It's a really cool game, really unique. The physics are actually one of the most impressive parts of this game, in my opinion. The physics have a really weighty feel to them. You're moving in and out of corners. It's very deliberate and paced. It's kind of hard to describe. You have to feel it. It's a very unique feeling racing game. So this is a very Ridge Racer feeling track. Specifically, these tunnel parts remind me specifically of a track in the original Ridge Racer. Now, a couple of these tracks have dynamic elements. This track specifically has falling debris. You gotta watch out for falling rocks. I think that only happens on the final lap, though, so we're good for now. The biggest problem with this game is the frame rate. It's something that's particularly noticeable in a racing game. It wasn't that big of a deal in Star Fox. She used the same graphics chip. It wasn't that big of a deal in Star Fox because Star Fox is a more leisurely game. It's an on-rails shooter. It's a leisurely experience. This, on the other hand, is white knuckle racing. Like, it might not look like it now because I'm always in first, but I'm playing on novice, so it's easy. But this can be a very difficult game, specifically on the expert tracks. So it's kind of hard playing with the lackluster frame rate in the expert tracks, because with a lower frame rate like that, you really kind of suffer for your spatial awareness. In a racing game like this, you really need to be aware of everything. You need to be able to see everything, understand where everything is. This game suffers from a little bit of pop-in. Like, far ahead on the track you would see like some pop-in, and this kind of game really suffers for that. But for all its faults, for all its shortcomings, this is a really great game, one of my favorites on the Super Nintendo. I would recommend it to anybody looking for a racing game on the Super Nintendo that isn't Super Mario Kart, which is obviously the best racing game on the Super Nintendo with its Mode 7 graphics and just design in general. That's a really good game. This is a good game too. I recommend it. No, I'm on the final lap here, so I'm going to go ahead and give my sign off. That was Gridish Plays. That was Stunt Race FX on the Super Nintendo. Thanks for watching. See you next time.